Yeah, get it on. Got to get on the Trust Get it on. Jason Mayhem Miller's in studios. Got the news lined up. Elizabeth Pipko, model, author. Good combination coming in. Knows a lot about a lot of stuff. We'll get into her stuff. I got stuff to get into because I was traveling around. And whenever I travel, I notice things. And when I notice things, they anger me, and then I write them down. So for this, you travel, Mayhem Miller. You've circled the globe.
Yeah. Yes, I get around, here, there, everywhere.
The first thing, I haven't experienced this in a while, but I had a corporate gig to do in Austin. And they'd sent a car to pick me and Mike up from the airport and take us to the venue, which was at the hotel we stayed at. And then they were going to pick us up the next day at the hotel and take us back to the airport, right? Now, Mike and I had a 9:40 flight out of Austin, which I was ironically trying to get pushed back to a later time because we're going to Nashville. Anyway, we had a 9:40 flight. So I said to Mike, whenever Mike and I part ways in the lobby of the hotel, we always do a reverse engineering math. We go, how far is the airport? It's 15 minutes. All right. We got to be there, an hour before? We got to check a bag. So it's a 9:40 flight. We got to leave. We got to get there at 8:40. Figure 20 minutes to get there. So I'll see you down here at like 8:20. It goes, okay. No discussion on car service or anything. Now, I did a show I did the corporate gig, then I went to Rogan's Club and hung out and did a pop-up set there, and then Mike and I went out for a late dinner, and then I got back to the room late and went to bed, and at 6:30 in the morning, the phone rang. Now, I don't know if anyone's discussed this with anyone, but hotel phones are unanswerable. Because back in the day, you would pick the phone up off the receiver and go, hello? Now you pick the phone up and you look at 70 buttons and the phone's still ringing. And so I start randomly pushing buttons. They don't put a big green button at the top that says answer. They just have a bunch of buttons.
A Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, so the phone is ringing at 6:30 in the morning. And I'm just looking at this phone trying to press buttons and nothing's happening. And eventually it stops ringing. So I go back to bed.
Yeah.
And then I hear a faint knock. I got to say this. This is an interesting thing. I'm staying in a suite. So the front door was not very close to the bedroom. It wasn't that big, but it wasn't right there, like a small hotel room. People knock, and they don't want to knock aggressively, but sometimes I hear in the distance, and I lay there in bed, and I go, is somebody knocking on? I don't know if someone's knocking on my door or the next door next to my door or something.
Or it's haunted.
Not really hearing it, 6:30 in the morning. Went to bed late. Get up, naked. You're welcome, ladies. Walk it over to the front door and look through the peephole, the sort of sketchy-looking woman. And I go, hello? And she goes, security? Security, land shark. And I go, hello? I'm naked, standing by the front door at 6:30 in the morning. I don't know what is this? What is going on at 6:30 in the morning? Hello? She goes, we're talking. It's a solid core. It's a 2-hour burn rating, 1 3/4 solid core fucking maple door, and you're muttering on the other side of it. So then I do something I've never done in my life. About the third time she mutters, I pound from the inside of the door. Bang, bang, bang. What do you want? And she's like, security. And I'm like,
don't we all want security?
Yeah, we all want security. Freedom. She was a woman of color who was mumbling. But I've never done an inside knock at somebody. I did the inside out knock. I pounded on the door like I was the fucking feds going, what do you want? So she finally says security. I go, okay. I go back in. I go, hold on. I go back in to find shorts because I'm naked. And shirt optional. You know, I find some trunks. I put the trunks on. I come back. I open the door. I go, yes? She goes, your car service is here. I go, 6:30 in the morning. She goes, yeah, you have a car service. I go, we're leaving at 8:30. We're leaving in 2 hours.
Yeah.
The airport's 15 minutes away. We got a 9:45 flight. She goes, your car service is here. I go, well, tell them. I don't even know. We'll be down. We'll see you in the lobby at 8. I'm going back to bed. So then I go back to bed. And I'm like, what car service? And then why at 6:30 in the morning? Here's the answer. You've probably experienced this. I've had it happen a million times. The way car services work is they go, you got to be at LAX at noon for the flight. You want to get there at 11. I'll send the guy at 8 in the morning. And then you go, don't do it. Don't do it. And then they go, why not? And then I go, because I'm not coming down till 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then they go, so what? Make him wait. And then I go, I don't want to make him. What do you mean, so what? Just make him wait. He's a fucking human being. Why is he sitting in his car for 2 hours? Just come down when you're ready. And then I go, I'm uncomfortable when I see a guy pull up in a town car and just park it in the driveway. I feel self-conscious about it. I'm going to go in and watch Sports Center, rub one out, do a crossword puzzle. He's waiting.
See, Ace, we travel different, bud. My experience is vastly different. Where I'm at the hotel and the guy, a pro wrestler in a blue Corvette, keeps it running, peels out. You know what I mean? Like, and then I jump in, throw my bag in the back, and we head out. And I get there 15 minutes before the flight takes off. Way different. Way different. You got like 6 layers of security and a nice black lady.
I'm usually an Uber guy, and that's how we roll. But this was a corporate thing, and I didn't do the math. They sent a car. Mike and I just jump in an Uber. It's $14 to get to the airport's 15 minutes away. So when we eventually come down at 8 in the morning, then I go, the car's here. Where's the car? I have a radio interview to do, of course, at like 7:30. So I go back to bed for 45 minutes, get up again, do this long-form radio interview, and I hang up and I keep calling Mike, and Mike's not picking up his phone. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Did I miss something? I mean, we talked last night. I had a martini, and it said, see you at 8. And I was like, all right. And I went back to the room. But is he gone? Is he at the airport that I missed my flight? Anyway, eventually I went down to the lobby. Mike was there. We got into the town car. And I was like, to the town car guy, I was like, what happened? I was told to get here at 6:30. I go, but it's a 9:45 flight and the airport's 15 minutes away. Yeah, I know. They tell you to do that. I go, well, then how? Do you just wait for almost 2 hours? Yeah, that's what they do. I go, okay, but then why is that bitch knocking on my door then? And he's like, at some point they told me to move because I've been sitting out there. For 45 minutes. They told me to move. I told the hotel I was there to pick up a guest. They said, who's the guest? I said, Adam Carolla. I said, all right, we'll go get him for you so you can get the fuck out of here. No one asked. The guy driving the car didn't go, the flight's American. It's 9:45. It's 6:40 now. I don't think you got to go wake him up. We're 15 minutes away from the airport.
The problem you're having is you're trying to explain main character stuff to NPC. You know what I mean? Non-player characters. People who just do, they put the pegs in the holes.
Yeah,
that's their
I know, but it's all they do is put the pegs in the holes. You know what I mean? It's all you do is drive a town car. Anyway, then Mike and I got into a huge argument about flour versus corn tortillas in the back of the car. And then this guy had to get involved.
That tale is as old as time.
Mike made me eat fucking fajitas with flour tortillas when I wanted corn. It's a long story. We got into an argument. The guy in the front goes, how about a tamale? That's good. Mike's telling me how much. Mike's yelling, I hate corn. I go, corn tortillas are so much fucking better, you asshole. We're arguing about fajitas from last night. He fucked me up with his flour tortilla order. I'm telling him about Chef Gruel and all that. And at some point, this guy goes, you like tamales? Because that's cornmeal. And Mike goes, too much trouble to eat. I go, Mike, I've opened 1,000 tamales. First off, there's nothing better than a tamale.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, you grab one little corner of the husk and you just lift it up and the thing rolls out like you're rolling a dead hooker off a comforter. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it's just too much trouble to eat. Mike's like, I ate the husk once. I'm like, okay, Mike, you can't say it's too much trouble. You eat lobster.
Yeah.
You eat crab claws. What do you mean too much trouble to eat? All right, anyway, that was an argument we had. We'll circle back to that. But I was rousted, and it was this time. And nobody does, nobody does the part where they go, why do you want a guy sitting in his car for 2 fucking hours in front of a popular hotel? He's going to get moved, by the way. He's not going to be able to just sit there in temporary parking. Okay. So, more stuff to get into. Also, on the air, I don't know, airline food. I know, I don't want to sound, I always complain about airline food. Okay. I don't complain about airline food being bad. I worry about the choices they make. So I've caught on. I've been in first class and seeing everyone getting their pre-ordered food. So I said to my assistant, Kyle, before we left, I said, I want to get in on this pre-ordered food. If there's pre-ordered food, I don't want the food taken up that I want when I get there.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do.
So you're just like rushing to the front of the plane, talk to the
what they do is they go, what do we have as a meal on this flight? And they go, oh, we have your mom's lasagna and we have calf brain casserole. And you go, oh, well, give me the lasagna. And they go, I'm sorry, sir, we only have 4 lasagna and they've all been pre-ordered. So you get no lasagna. You get the calf brain casserole. So I said, I'm leaving Philly. I'm flying first class. I'm leaving at 8 in the morning. That's a 5.5-hour flight. There's got to be food in first class, so I want to pre-order. Can I tell you the offering? Something, again, if you've never eaten it on the ground, it shouldn't be available in the air. It's a frittata, which, by the way, we don't need frittata. We have quiche.
Yeah.
Quiche is a frittata, but in a pie crust.
French frittata.
It's a better frittata because it has pie crust on eggs.
Vastly superior.
Frittata is quiche with no crust. So we don't need it. It's a frittata with asparagus, mushroom, and leeks. Leeks are just, we don't need leeks. It's just another onion. We have green onions, we have purple onions, and we have onions. A leek is just a fucking shitty, another onion. No cheese, no ham, no bacon, none of the shit you want for breakfast. No, leeks, asparagus, which is too much water for a frittata, and tasteless almost. Mushroom, more water, no taste, and leeks, no taste. Have you ever been on the ground and ordered a leek, asparagus, and mushroom omelet?
I never had any of that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I knew you'd be on the same page. So I do not get the frittata.
This is like the second time I've heard the word frittata.
Yeah. Well, we had quiche. We didn't. And quiche is good. It comes with Canadian
Quiche,
bacon and stuff.
I can get on board.
All right. So now, circling to another subject, but I'll bring it to this. Emmy or Dawson or Byron, do we have that clip of the slam poetry? All right. Somebody brought this to my attention, but there's a part of it that I don't think people are going to really fully understand just by watching. Is there a name for this poem? And do we know where it was from or when it was from? I asked Kyle about all this stuff before the show. Do we have any info on the name or where? It's got a title, Kyle. It's called Dear White People.
Oh, wow.
All right. So now watch it in Marvel.
All right.
And then I'm going to apply it to a couple of popular things in my life. But there's also another component that you have to look out for. Sorry, go ahead.
Dear white people, I don't even know where to start. In between my busy schedule comprised entirely of surviving white America, there is simply no time to write letters. Besides, any letter I write will most likely bring tears to your eyes, and I, for one, have had my fill of white tears. There are days I think you aren't worth my ink, that your whiteness is draining me of too much energy. Can't give you a taste of the tea for fear you'll colonize the whole kitchen. But today, I am too angry to remain silent. Dear white people, stop making everything about you and how uncomfortable you are. I honestly don't give a flying fuck about your comfort level. You have made my very existence an exercise in discomfort. It is time for you to make room at the table. Better yet, go sit in the living room. I am not here to coddle your feelings, not here for your amusement. No, you cannot touch my hair. This isn't a damn petting zoo. And stop coming into my office asking for the managers if you aren't already looking at one. Dear white people, stop telling me about this colorblind society you allegedly live in. Telling me you don't see race is the racist drivel I hope you choke on. Telling me you respect me but don't see my color is like saying you have to pretend I'm not black in order to respect me. But let me assure you, I am black, though there are plenty of things I'm not, like your sassy black friend. Stop saying, hey girl, when you see me. You ain't that slick. I hear the way you talk to Becky and Steve every day. You sound like Vacation on Martha's Vineyard, where you spent summers waiting in the bitter blue of the Atlantic. How I wish my toes could touch the ocean without stepping on the bones of my ancestors. Dear white teachers.
All right, pause it. Now, what's comical about this is there's the whitest woman in the world.
Yeah.
Got the fucking short straw, and she's doing sign language interpretation.
Ginger lady, in fact.
Ginger. She looks like Sandy Duncan's albino sister, and she's 4 feet away from this fucking woman who's just yelling, die, die Whitey. Yeah. And she's got to stand next to this ginger chick with fair skin. Could be if Sandy Duncan and Tom Petty had a kid, that's how white this person is. And she's got to fucking stand next to this lunatic and sign, basically, come kill our type. Now,
I like it.
But let me say this.
Avant-garde.
All right. It's got to be weird when you, okay, if I am the woman, let's just say, let's just say I showed up to the theater.
Yeah.
All right, I showed up. I'm going to do some slam poetry, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And I got a poem I want to lay on you called Take That Blackie. Okay? That's my poem. And then I go, all right, this is going to be a racial diatribe aimed at the black man. I'm going to go from grape soda to Carvassier to abandoning your kids to being lazy and no count. I got this whole fucking thing. It's basically die black people. Yeah. And then I come around the corner and they introduce me to my sign language interpreter. It's Kevin Hart. It's Ice Cube.
It's Ice Cube.
It's Ice Cube. And he's just standing there. And it's like, yeah, I'll be accompanying you up on stage. What are you doing? And first thing I would do is I'd go, look, there's almost, I know for certain there are no deaf people in the crowd tonight. Now, what do they pay you? I get $80 a gig. Here's $100. Here's $100. Plus, I just called you an Uber, and I don't even know where you live, but I got an Uber. There's an app that just says Uber the fuck out. Like, I just called Uber out. That means I'm having a bad date, and I need this person to leave. What'd you say, $80? Here's $100 cash, Mr. Cube. I called you an Uber. Let's just call it a wrap. We're good. We're good. There's, maybe there's 2 deaf people, but fuck them. You know what I mean? Fuck those deaf people. So could you imagine walking out on stage with the person from that group who is not ambiguous and just launching a die Whitey diatribe while that person stood next to you and
but
handed
I get it, though. She's being, saucy, like, aggressive. Like, she's speaking for all the black people in the world. So I get why she's doing it.
Her name is Mwende Katwina, and it's really Shirley Hemphill, like in real life. But all right. But anyway, this is in Dallas, Texas. It's a poetry slam.
I wonder if I got a shot at dating this lady.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Whitey may not need to apply, but if you go back to where they first show the poor chick, it's great comedy because they're on a single of the chick while she does her first
I had to hold
minutes
back laughter.
of Die Whiting.
You know my laugh.
But
So I had to hold, once they panned over to Gingerbread Lady, I was like, oh my goodness, what the hell's going on?
I don't see a lot of deaf black guys. They exist. I think she's talking to a white person with her hands.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Would it be okay for a white person to miss this? Do you know what I mean? Like,
No, she's speaking. Didn't you hear at the top? Dear white people. She's speaking exclusively to them. I don't think this is for the African American community.
All right. So that was funny, but it would. You know what I would do?
Yeah.
If I were there and I was going to do that, my Take That Blackie beat poem, and I had Ice Cube standing next to me. I mean, it wasn't Ice Cube. It was just this guy looked like Ice Cube. Was going. He'll be interpreting you on there. It's a couple things. If I did the poem as it was, I would do the move where when Ice was standing next to me doing the thing, I would do the handout move thing, you know, where not you.
Yeah.
Like when you're talking on the phone with somebody, like if Mayhem's in the room, and I'm going, I think he does a pretty good job. He's a little slow on the news. Yeah. No, I can. No. You know what I'm going to put my hand up? Like, don't worry about it. I'm not talking to him. I do the handout. I have to do the handout, but I think I would probably just take my whole poem called Dear Blackie, and I would just, every time it said black man, I would just cross it out and write Puerto Rican. or anything but the guy standing next to me.
But
that's
then
all.
He'd have to figure out the symbology for Puerto Rican.
He could spell it out.
Okay.
All right. So now I'm going to move to a bigger, more global issue, but it's going to be connected to what we just saw. Okay?
All right.
I travel a lot, as I've expressed. And I left LAX and I went to Clear because I got the Clear clearance. Mike August and I were traveling together and we went to the Clear clearance, right? And there's a clear line or there's a clear path and then the TSA pre-path, right?
Yeah.
The PSA pre-check path has about 8 or 9 people in it, and Mike and I come walking up, and there's nobody in the clear area, right? But there are 3 people of color, 2 women, 1 young dude, all young, who work for Clear, because I got the jerseys on, the vests on, and they're having a conversation in the middle of the Clear thing. And I just look at them, and I think, I don't see, because of this woman, I don't fuck around with black people that much. If they were white, I'd go, hey, ho, over here, Clear customer, let's go. We got a job to do. But they were talking.
Yeah.
And so I go, fuck it, I'll just get in the TSA pre-check line. So I did. And then Mike comes up, and he goes, what's going on with Clear? And I go, I don't know, they're talking or something. And he goes, well, is Clear open? I go, yeah, I think Clear's open, but the people that work there are they're talking. And he goes, well, hold on. And then Mike yells, hey, is Clear open? And the 2 black chicks go, we're talking about lunch. And I go, oh, okay. And then Mike's like, is it open? And they're like, we're going to lunch.
So choke on your tea.
But but the black guy, the one dude, is not going to lunch. He just works there. And then the black dude goes back to looking at his phone. And me and Mike, I just go, Mike, let's just go to TSA. We just go through TSA. And we go through TSA. And then the whole time we're going through TSA, and we just looking back at the guy and just looking at his phone. Now, what I'm saying is I could give you 10,000 of those stories from the airport because we just man the airports with black people and tons of black chicks, and tons of black chicks grew up on it. When you're 25, you grew up on a steady diet of the fucking white man does not want you in his country. Yeah. There's a target on your back every time you go to the Hamptons. I step in the Atlantic Ocean. You step on the bones of your ancestors. So how fucking friendly and receptive would you be if two middle-aged white guys come around the corner? And what am I going to do? I demand to see your supervisor. Someone's going to start filming me, and we're going to have a fucking hate crime on TMZ, right?
Yeah.
Then I go to Philadelphia. Same thing, young black chick, like insecurity. She's looking at the ID. And by the way, they don't even say, like, could I please see your ID or whatever? She's like, ID, you know? And then I was standing there. It was like 8 in the morning. Did 2 shows. Got to sleep at 1. I was standing there. I had my sunglasses on, right? And I'm standing there. And she's looking at something. She goes, shades. And I go, what? She goes, shades. And I go, what? I'm sorry. What do you got? Shades. I go, oh, shade. Sunglass? Would you like me to please remove my sunglasses? Yeah, okay. I'll take. Don't keep screaming shades at me.
Ace, the problem you're having is you just have too much dignity.
No, I have no dignity.
No. What I'm saying is, you try. Hear me out now. You try to like treat everyone like they're gonna treat you like a human. My response to the Clear situation would just be to walk right up to them with a slack jaw, glazed over eyes, and point in the and then bring my Clear pass out and go until they're like, wow, this person has mental problems, and just let me right through. It works more often than not.
I have been, over the last 15 years, essentially verbally abused at airports by young black women. I had another one tell me to take my bag and go check it, even though I travel everywhere with it because it hung out of the template 3 inches. But I started the day. And when I say started the day, I mean went to bed at 1, got up at 6:30 a.m. to meet Mike in the lobby at 7 to get in the shuttle to go to the Philadelphia airport. I roll down the lobby at like carrying all my luggage at 6:52, and I just go, fuck, I want to get a coffee. And I go to the front desk and I go, do you guys have coffee? It's a big Marriott, whatever, big, entryway and everything. I go, do you have coffee, like a coffee station? And the guy goes, yeah, it's over. It's over at the end, but you need this little certificate. I brought it in. You need this card to like present to them. You got to get it from me. So the guy gives me the card, and I go over toward where he's pointing, and I go, I see 25-year-old black chick working out there. I go, is there coffee in the room here or something in this room, in this area? Is there coffee? And she goes, it's not open till 7. And I go, oh, okay, all right, I got you. And I turn around, I take like 4 steps toward where Mike is in the rental car, and I look around. I go, wait a minute, it's 7. It's 7 right now. So then I turn back around, and I say to the nice employee lady, I go, I'm sorry, is it 7? Are you open at 7? She goes, it's on the card. I go, I'm holding the card up because in very miniature writing at the bottom of this card, it says weekends 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. But it's very small. But she also could have just said yes, or it's right there. She didn't have to yell, it's on the card. And I realized, they're fucking angry. And the deal is their fucking dad abandoned them. They're angry at fucking men. And then every motherfucking politician, including Joe Biden, has fed them a steady fucking diet of nobody wants you here. And now middle-aged whitey comes walking around and it's fucking payback time. But how else could it go? How else could it go? If you were a young black woman that had daddy issues and fucking fire starters like Biden and Kamala Harris and every politician just fed you a fucking steady diet of white people don't like you and they don't want you here and they want you back in cages. They want you back in chains. That's what they say. Okay, if you were fed that your entire life, then what? Now you're 24, you're fucking Dumbo, and you're working at the Philadelphia Hilton, or you got the only job that'll employ you, which is airport bullshit nothingness. then how are you going to act when you interact with these people? And do you think your redheaded, middle-aged supervisor, Irv, is going to come tune you up? Because he don't want to get fired.
Yeah.
So is he going to come tell you you have to be courteous? Or I've got some complaints.
I see what you're saying.
Right.
It's systemic.
We are fucked. And it's going to just keep going.
But how do we shift it? You're in the media. Like, how do we culturally shift it so that we're like, hey, can we call it even, black ladies? We don't want to get, we're not against you. We want to help you out. We don't want to step on your ancestors' bones.
They need the Oprah Winfreys and the LeBron James and the rest of the fucking rich race hustlers, and Jay-Z, all the rest of the rich race hustlers to fucking make a statement every once in a while. Like, listen, it's 2024. You got a lot of opportunities. Don't go fucking Joe Biden. Joe Biden gives a commencement address at all-black Howard University and explains to them they're not wanted here.
Oof.
Well, no, not Joe Biden. Joe Biden wants them. He's the one white guy who does want them here. But the rest of us... But Joe Biden's not traveling through the airport with me at Philly at 7:40 in the morning.
I remember in my ghetto neighborhood growing up, the black kids would just beat me up. And, I'm like, guys, I'm in the same neighborhood as you. Like, I'm here with you, and it's even harder. I'm white. So, it was like a strange thing because they're taking it out on the systemic whatever, yaddy-dotty. Like, everybody hates them. Like, what? Now they hate me.
Speaking of LeBron.
Yeah. Oh, you play with the son, huh?
Bronny.
Yeah, Bronny.
Named him after the paper towels. I had this conversation. I have retarded conversations with people all fucking day.
Me too,
every day. Every day. That's all I do. And all I want to say to everyone, and especially Mike August, the third time I say something, Dodgers are down 2-0 and going to be eliminated tonight. The third time I say something, you go, you know what? Let me check. I may not be right on that one. You're allowed to stop and go, let me check. At that point, my daughter, she knows I know Jay Moore, and she knows Jeannie Buss is Jay's husband. And she knows she owns the team and can score us great tickets, right?
Yeah.
And she knows I took my son to a game last year and we got the full treatment, right? So she calls me the other day and she goes, hey, me and my friend really want to go to a Lakers game. And it's coming up. It's October 22nd. And we want to go see a Lakers. My friend wants to see Gigi. She wants to see a Lakers preseason game. That's the 22nd. It's Tuesday. It's coming up. I go, preseason? Yeah. Why does she want to see a preseason game? I don't know. I go, oh, well, I could call Jay because I bet preseason's pretty easy for him, And she goes, yeah, do that. I go, yeah, I'll do that. Preseason, though. Why do you want to go to a preseason game? She wants to go. I go, all right, well, that seems pretty easy. So I talked to her about a week later, and she goes, I go, oh, hey, yeah, the tickets. Yeah, I'll send Jay the thing. And then I pause again, and I go, why does your friend want to go to a preseason Lakers game? Doesn't she want to go to a regular season game? Preseason. She wants to go. That's what she said. I go, well, listen, I don't give a shit. Preseason, regular season, I'll go. I'll have some beers and watch, sit on the floor there. And I'm going through my mind like, well, this is going to be an easy ticket. I don't like bugging people on hard tickets, right? So then I send Jay Moore a text. And I go, hey, man, I'd like to take my daughter to the game and maybe a friend. And could you hustle October 22nd coming up, preseason game. And he's like, yeah, okay. And then he comes walking in here earlier today. So I'm doing a podcast with him. And he goes, hey, I got those tickets, but it's just you and your daughter? And I go, yeah, me and my daughter, maybe your friend. Maybe we'll need a few more or something like that. And he goes, well, you got to decide. And I go, why? I mean, I'll figure it out, but it's preseason. And he goes, it's opening season. It's the opening. It's the opening game. And I'm like, and now he's like, you better tell me because these are hard tickets. And I'm like, oh, what? Of course it's opening day, which goes from who cares ticket to super important ticket. But somewhere the fifth time when I say preseason, why would a 19-year-old girl want to go to a why would she say preseason? I don't know. That's what it was. She said opening season. And my daughter did pre, and I'm telling anyone who's within the sound of my voice, the third time I say the same thing back to you in a sing-songy way, that is your opportunity to stop. You just stop and you go, I'll ask. Or let me check.
Yeah.
No. So now it's opening day, basically, and it's a hard ticket, but Jay's still coming
she's doing
through.
it nefarious. Like maybe she knew that it was a hard ticket, but to paint it preseason ensures that you're going to call.
I would argue that the owner of the team is going to see through that. Yeah. The owner of the team will know it's opening night, right?
No, I just meant to motivate you to make that text. Yeah. Man, it worked.
It worked. All right. We should, I got a lot more to get into, but let's take ourselves a break. You got the news ready to go? We'll do the news and more complaints right after this. Simply Safe, old school security systems only act once there's already somebody in your home. Simply Safe is changing that. New Active Guard outdoor protection. Stop crime before it starts. Live monitoring agents can keep watch outside of your home or anyone loitering or acting suspicious. Live Guard can see, speak to, and scare them off with loud sirens and spotlights. Simply Safe's cameras, AI ignores friendly faces. See how smart they are? Family, neighbors, dog walkers, while alerting agents to threats, actual threats. Starts around $1 a day, no hidden fees or long-term contracts. Cancel anytime. We've all used these guys. They've been supporters of the show since we've started pretty much. And I partnered with Simply Safe to give you an offer, 50% off. Just for my listeners, 50% off. Just visit simplysafe.com/Adam. Get the 50% off. Right, Dawson?
This offer is only valid for 1 week, so visit the website now, simplysafe.com/Adam. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Qualia Senolytics, the biggest discovery of our time for promoting healthy aging. Feel 15 years younger in a matter of months. It's funny, I was just thinking about 15 years. Dawson's dad is 15 years younger than my dad, and they're both getting up there. And I was just thinking about that when I walked in. Anyway, as we age, the body accumulates senescent cells, zombie cells that cause symptoms of aging, aches, slow workout recovery, sluggish mental and physical energy, like pruning dead leaves off a plant. Qualia Senolytic removes worn out senescent cells to allow the rest to thrive. Just take 2 days a month. That's all. It's just 2 days a month. That's not something you take every day. You do a series 1 day, and then you do it at the end of the month. So you just take it, or at the beginning of the month, and take one in the middle of the month. But it's just 2 days a month. It's non-GMO, vegan and gluten-free, 100-day money-back guarantee. I'm telling you, this thing has changed my life. It will change yours. Am I right, Dawson?
Resist aging at the cellular level. Try Qualia Senolytic. Go to qualialife.com/Adam for up to 50% off. And use code Adam at checkout for an additional 15% off. For your convenience, Qualia Senolytic is also available at select GNC locations near you. That's QUALIA life.com/Adam for an extra 15% off your purchase. Thanks to Qualia for sponsoring today's episode. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace Man John from Fort Worth, Texas. I just wanted to take a minute and say Mayhem Miller is killing it. He's doing an awesome job. Keep it up, man. Get it on. Bye.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
I concur. Mayhem.
God bless.
We got news. I got other stuff to complain
Take
about.
that, Miss De Silva.
Oh, yeah. She said you never go anywhere.
Yeah, she said I'm never going anywhere. I'll never read the news. And here I am reading the news. Hey, the first piece of news is an irate sheriff calls for backup after Burger King messes up his order and squad cars show up with sirens blazing.
This is weird. Is there a thing? Do Americans feel like they have a God-given right to fast food?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I got to see another video of the McDonald's employee going, sorry, we're out of fries, and the person going over the counter to physically assault them. Like, sometimes you don't get fast food all the time and how you want it exactly. You're not...
Telling you, it's the original drug. It's the original drug.
It's not a God-given right, though.
I know, but salt, fat, sugar, like something happens. It's like the real crack cocaine is right there at McDonald's or Burger King in this case. But
no, it's true.
This is the case of like Uber Karen with the pistol and a badge.
You know how you can tell where the real addiction is?
Tell me.
Like, here's where you can tell.
Yeah.
You can find the real addiction at the airport.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that, listen, Mayhem, I'm going to drop some truth bombs on
All right, hit it.
You clear security and you walk in past security, and now you're just in this sort of food court till you get to your terminal, right?
Yeah.
And it's like 7:45 in the morning. A lot of people are tired, didn't get a full night, slept in a hotel or whatever. People are vulnerable and they're like at their weakest, right? You walk through there, you will see no line at the Healthy Choices Snack Hut. You know, we got salads, we got sandwiches made with whole grain bread and fresh turkey and whatever. There's no waiting at the place that's selling the bananas and the oranges or whatever. You turn the corner and you see the Taco Bell, and there's fucking 200 people at 7:45 in the morning trying to get their hands on some Taco Bell. And you look across, and there's a Starbucks, and there's 18 people waiting in line to get a fucking coffee.
Oh, yeah.
That's the addiction. That's how you know, because if people are sort of lukewarm on fast food or on coffee, if it wasn't like a drug, you wouldn't see the 8 a.m. airport crowd just wait. You go, fuck that. There's 32 people in line. I'm not going to wait a line for an hour to get a shit burrito. Yeah. No, it's addiction, man.
Yeah, no carrot box addiction around.
I always feel bad at the poor guy. Well, maybe I shouldn't feel bad. The guy who does the Healthy Hut kiosk, like across from the Taco Bell.
Yeah.
It's got whole grain wraps and fresh produce and carrot sticks. That guy's fucking dry as a bone.
Sad music.
That guy's just sitting there on his phone the entire day. He never lifts a finger. There's no line. There's no lunch hustle. Yeah. There's no morning hustle. There's nothing. That guy just sits there. That's the gig you want.
We have footage of this incident, but it's like, I'm going to just warn you, it's kind of cringe and not super exciting. It's more like, what the hell?
All right.
Hey, man. Sure. Hey, do me a favor. I need to get, all I need is the owner name or whoever owns this damn facility or the manager. Okay. We ordered something, food was wrong. We say, can we fix it right? The guy said, well, we ordered. I said, that's not what we ordered. What are we doing? I said, well, can I get my number? I said, well, can you give me a manager name or owner name so I can call them? That's all I need. Okay. I don't need no damn money back no more. I just need to find out who owns this place so I can do a physical complaint to complain. Okay, so that's all right.
Got a canine in there?
Yeah, I got a canine in there.
Oh, wow.
Wants the name of the manager or the owner so he can file a complaint. That's all.
Cops are getting too husky, too, and they're eating too much fast food.
All you got to do to get away from the cops is take a jog.
I know, really.
Yeah.
I'll get all the names I can.
He's on the clock right now, by the way.
Yes.
The liquor store across the street's being robbed.
Yeah. And we got 6 officers out there at least.
They're gonna,
and this guy tries the locked door.
You'd think the body cam would take care of a lot of this, because you're like, I don't want this fucking on my permanent
that's
record.
the funny part, is that the sheriff, this wasn't from the sheriff's body cam, it was from the cops that showed up to back him up.
The people that own this place is...
okay, that's all I need.
All right, sir.
Appreciate you, man.
Yep, no problem. I'm good day, sir.
He didn't want to use that.
All he wanted to give me was his
That's
first name.
the white male with the mustache?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he said he felt threatened that somebody was going to do something to him, so like stalk him or something. It didn't help none.
Burger King
You didn't tell me who I
vendetta.
was.
No.
Oh man, that used to be my poor meal. That was my go-to poor meal.
Yeah.
I worked at an industrial park in Chatsworth, California. Tom Johnson's shop in the back, and there was a Burger King on like Devonshire or something. And every once in a while they do Dawson knows it. They do the big. Oh God, Burger King big. What was their burger? What's their big
Whopper.
one? Whopper. They do their 99-cent Whopper days.
Oh man.
99-cent Whopper days. When you're poor, you're making $12 an hour. Two Whoppers, 99 cents each. That was a big day for
Listen,
me.
I'm just gonna admit that I feel the devil within me, the addiction bubbling up as you're talking about a nice warm burger.
Oh,
I'm telling you,
it's
you're right
so
about
good.
that. It's an addiction.
I never do it. I do almost zero fast food, but
me too.
But it's always there,
It's always
and it's
there.
always whispering.
She's always there.
She's your mistress. It's a siren song.
It is.
She's calling you to the sea like a
Crash
sailor.
you into the rocks.
Yeah, she wants to take you into a jetty.
Next up, the Florida resident Lieutenant Dan recounts riding out his Hurricane Milton recently in Tampa on his sailboat. I'm not scared of anything. This guy kind of went viral last week. Joseph Malinowski, I should say, a 54-year-old Tampa resident known locally as Lieutenant Dan. I guess he got one leg, and he weathered Hurricane Milton aboard his small sailboat in Tampa Bay early on Thursday morning, despite the Category 3 winds.
So he's a Lieutenant Dan because he's missing a leg.
Exactly. You know, they just call him that. I guess that started because of the famous scene where in Forrest Gump where Lieutenant Dan is cussing God out on the very tip top, and then they just had a boatload of shrimp.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, he made it. He survived. Got slammed up against the harbor wall a few times. But, you know, overall, it was a nothing burger. 99 cent.
I'd
nothing
like
burger.
to have a nothing burger about now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Whoppers are charbroiled. They got
That's
it right,
what I'm saying.
man.
Yeah, the taste. That charbroiled, something hit the back. You know, one time I had a charbroiled Impossible burger. Yeah, I went gay the whole day.
They just outlawed lab meat in Europe.
What?
I just heard that story today.
No, but this one is like vegan, so they're going to outlaw
Yeah,
that?
no, this is just the Impossible Burger's just a bunch of soybean oil and crushed bean curd and
But they put
Shit.
some kind of like the same protein that's in blood in the thing, so it tastes like real meat. That's the difference.
I know. Well, how was it?
It was good. Like, I was like shocked. It was like not a burger, but it tasted like a burger.
But I would do it if the Impossible Burger was better for you than a beef burger, but it's not.
It's not?
No.
See, I figured it was.
Beef is really good for you, it turns out. We've just been talking shit about it, you know, meat is murder and all that kind of shit. But the reality is it's good for you.
But I think, yeah, I agree. But
I don't know
think-
about I don't know about a Burger King patty, but
No,
I'm just
no.
saying as opposed to a good burger, you know, higher grade.
I just think the only
Ground
bad
beef.
part is like red meat will get like you see them rich guy diseases. Rich guys get cancer.
Gout.
Yes, gout and like you get like colon cancer
Scurvy.
because your butt is like handling so much red meat. It's not
Hold
supposed to do that.
Have you ever given a TED Talk on this?
I have.
Jason Mayhem Miller. Well, you get butt cancer because your asshole can't process the beef.
The human asshole can only handle so much, folks.
You know, when Bart Simpson says, "Don't have a cow, man," that's what he's saying. And when I fought Rampage, I ate too much cow stuff, and my butt couldn't process it. So now, here we are.
So Lieutenant Dan made it through the hurricane unscathed. Tampa, shout out to you guys. I hope that you're okay because mostly everyone was. And Hurricane Milton did not take out the electorate.
Milton is not a good name for a hurricane.
I mean, what's next? Hurricane Urkel? It's pretty bad. Mabel?
Well, let me say this. You give a hurricane a name, right? But let's really drill down on the psychology of human beings and human nature, right? Okay. So you give a name to a hurricane, and you do it so you can keep track of them, but you're constantly telling everyone to clear out. They're begging everyone, abandon your home, go to higher ground, do not do this. And their biggest problem is people don't listen, and they get trapped, and they get trapped in debris. Next thing, they're on the roof of their house, and we got to rescue them, right? Or they die. If you gave your hurricane a name like Milton,
Yeah.
then so if you said, hurricane, I'm just saying, if somebody just said, there's a guy outside, you're in a bar,
Yeah.
and you go, there's a guy on the sidewalk who wants to fight. Well, sorry, there are two guys. There's two guys on the bar, and they want to fight, right? And one guy is named Milton, and the other guy's name is Drake.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'll take Milton. I haven't seen them. I don't know what their skill set is.
Yeah.
I'll just take Milton over Dutch or even Steve. It's just his name. I'll try Milton. I'll take a chance. Now, you could get burned. It could be Randy Couture out there,
exactly,
and you just picked a dude named Randy over a guy named Dave, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But I'm saying if you want people to clear out, you need, you know who's blowing into town? Hurricane Adolf.
Yeah.
Clear it out. If there are a lot of Jewish folk in the Florida area, Adolf's coming to town. Cat 5 bringing his friends.
See,
you clear right the fuck out.
But they name him
Stalin.
alphabetically. Yeah, there you go. Stalin.
But I mean,
Stalin,
we got Pol Pot, we got Stalin, we got Vladimir.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hurricane Vlad's coming in. Fucking pack it up.
Yeah.
Pack it. Milton's coming in. I think we could ride this one out. You see what I just did?
Yep.
That's the conversation.
You're right.
Can't give him a pussy name. Give him oh yeah, Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a Category 4. It's coming through town.
The disrespect, yeah.
Yeah, a Genghis. Hurricane Genghis is coming through, everybody. Pack it up. Milton's coming through.
Hurricane Ricky Martin's showing up.
Yeah.
Gonna kick back.
No, hang back.
Yeah.
Not making a
Good.
move.
Hurricane.
You got to give it a name that's going to get people to move. So we're all psychological.
Absolutely right. Hey, next up, the new American millionaire class. You might like this. Plumbers and HVAC entrepreneurs. Yeah, private equity is pouring money into skilled trade small businesses.
Good.
Next thing you know,
Fucking
you're running an
finally.
empire. Yeah, it's a big deal.
There's money to be made in the blue collar world, and you cannot be canceled.
No.
Once you're good, if you're a good plumber or a good electrician,
Yeah.
you will not be canceled. You can't be canceled. There's nothing you can say. You have a skill. If you can weld, lay a good bead of weld, plumb, frame, finish, swing a door, HVAC, whatever, there's going to be work.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's I've told you, I'm in Malibu now. They charge Malibu prices when they come out. You know, like I had a guy come to hook up a water filter, and they just think I'm some pussy comedian, but they don't know I did this shit for a long time, and the guy'd be like, well, I'll put the water filter in and it's going to be, I don't know, $1,600 or something, you know? And I go, and what do we got in parts? Because I know it's a bunch of fucking elbows and a little copper sweating some half-inch copper pipe and a nipple and a fucking LB. Well, that's an electrician's thing, but no one listening knows what the fuck I'm talking about anyway.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, it's going to be $100 in parts, which it wasn't. It's couplers and fucking Y's and T's and sweeps and shit. And not much, but anyway, it's $100. And I'm like, all right, you doing it alone, or is it a two-manner? And he goes, no, I'll do it myself. I go, how long do you think the job's going to take? I'll get here at 9 in the morning, probably half a day, probably be out of here by noon or 1. I go, okay, all right, hold on. It's $1,600.
Yeah.
We're going to back out 100, which we're really going to back out $41. But all right, we'll back out 100. Now we're at $1,500, and you're going to be here alone. You get $500 an hour, and the answer is, yeah, I do. From your Malibu white ass, that's how it works. Yeah. I mean, people go, oh, this guy's a plumber, this guy's an electrician, or what have you, and they go, it's good money, man. He's making $46 an hour plus golden time with the union or whatever. That guy is a plumber, he's making $75 an hour, whatever that thing is. But when that guy comes to your house, if that guy's got his own business and he's an electrician, and you're like, I want to hook up the Tesla charger, so I need the 240, and I need to put it in the garage next to where I park the car. And the guy's like, all right, run some conduit and sweep it and blah, blah, and pack it up, whatever. That guy's got $100 worth of fucking conduit. Like, parts are cheap.
Yeah.
LBs and connectors and stuff. There's not much to it. Go down to fucking Home Depot. It's not that much money. And that guy's going to be there for 2.5 hours doing that, and he's charging you $1,300. That guy's not making $50 an hour.
No.
That guy's making $475 an hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, good for people, and everyone in the trades is much saner than all the white collar college people. They didn't get their fucking brain eaten by COVID or anything. They're normal.
It's strange that it's just now catching up, kind of, where like people who just push numbers around will get paid 10 times somebody who just actually does something for society.
I've been
weird.
Fucking screaming. Well, first off,
like Wall Street, like they just like push numbers and like all the money comes and they're just making up money, right?
I guess.
I don't know. I don't even know how it works. Yeah.
I don't know anything works. But I know I've been screaming about this subject for over 25 years. Ever since I started seeing all these commercials. I'm Sheryl Crow, and this is for the music. We need to bring music back into kids and classrooms. And there was this whole big push in the mid-'90s of the arts in school and the arts, music. And there was always, they do this fucking bullshit where they go like, turns out kids who have mastered the oboe are 3 times more likely to go to college. Yeah, because they have parents who care. They bought them a fucking oboe and they practice something. For 3 hours a day. If you do that with anything, you'll be 3 times better at math than anybody else. It's all bullshit. We have to expose them to art. We have to expose them to music. It's not worth a fucking nickel once you get out of high school. Then I would yell, we need trades programs. We need to bring back shop class. Not fucking Sheryl Crow with her fucking oboe. We need shop class back in school. This is 1994, and everyone just look at me and go, what are you such a hater for? And I go, there's kids, they need a skill. The oboe's not, they're not playing the oboe. And they'd go, whoa. I go, why don't we have shop class? Because music opens their mind up. I go, well, they don't have a skill. They need a job. No, music makes them think better. Like, oh, shut the fuck up. Where is shop? Because
or like computers or something, right? Like it needs to be like
they did a little bit of, but they decided everybody needed to go to college and then join the Philharmonic. And me and Chris and Ray and all my jack-off buddies from North Hollywood High, we just left high school completely skillless. And we all wandered onto a job site and just started picking up garbage for a living.
Yeah, they could have been. Yeah, they could have
been an apprentice.
Plumber. Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why they do that. And then try to teach old dogs new tricks.
Well, who's running the schools? Who's running the LA Unified? I mean, the number one chick is just a fucking angry lesbian with no kids. What's her nose? The one with the bob cut who gets up there and screams about where they need more money. Weinstein.
Weingarten.
That fucking old coos. You think she cares about shop class? And they're all just a bunch of angry chicks who are on a mission to fucking poison your brain about Hamas, not teach you about shop. They don't give a fuck about shop. They want to teach you lesbian poetry. They don't want to teach you about shop. They're not interested in shop. Who's running the schools? A bunch of fucking cowards that shut down for 2 years because of COVID? You think those pussies care about shop? It's a bunch of henpecked homos and a bunch of crazy, angry fucking lesbians. That's who's running the schools, and they don't give two shits. If Mike Rowe was running schools, then we'd have shop. If Adam Carolla was running schools, then we'd have shop.
But the only way to change that would be to have those type of people on the school board. But those type of people, they didn't take liberal arts degree and go into.
No, and we're working. Everybody's working. Those guys have jobs. Plumbers and electricians and normal people have jobs. So the agenda is set by the people who are average age 27, average sex female, and average party affiliation progressive Democrat. They don't like blue-collar people. They have disdain for blue-collar people.
You just flunk out of there, go to prison, and then you learn to be a plumber.
Then they want to help you. Once you're in prison, then they have apathy for it. But it's a bunch of listen. I've said it a million times. If the school was just run by vegans, how fast would they get rid of meatloaf?
Yeah.
They can't help themselves. Have you ever met a progressive 27-year-old single woman who was into wood shop, metal shop, lathes, table saws, chop saws?
A rare Venn diagram.
Doesn't exist. So they've weeded out the shop guy because the shop teacher was the white dude who liked Charlton Heston and was an NRA member, and they fucking sent that guy packing a long time ago.
I never considered this.
Right. So that's why it's been vetted out, and that's where Sheryl Crow and the music part comes in.
Well, you're going to like this.
Idiots.
You're going to like this then. Right. Billionaires back a new anti-woke university. Jeff Yass and Harlan Crow are among
I'm going to teach woodshop there.
Exactly, Billionaires frustrated, with elite colleges are banding behind a fledgling school in Texas that boasts 92 students. So apparently, it's a major GOP donor, Crow, was an early backer. Much of the ed today seems to want to reject Western accomplishments and the accomplishments of Western.
Most of education today?
Yeah, that's what he says,
Right.
Higher ed, It's like he's saying that they're,
Yeah. Now listen.
Yeah.
I've said it a million times. Safe spaces and octagons. The normal people who just miss this country and tired of the fucking loonies running everything will just move to an octagon. Well, there's no longer going to be people coexisting at Stanford and Berkeley and Harvard. It's going to be, that's a bunch of Hamas supporting left-wing lunatics. I don't want my fucking kid to go there and get his brain poisoned for $85,000 a semester. We'll start our own school. We're going somewhere else. That's what it is. That's what Florida is.
So where does this chaos end though? Because what's gonna bring the country to homeostasis? I'm not very good at politics, but I don't understand how we're gonna get back to where everybody can just coexist. And it's looking like there's some type of trouble on the horizon right now.
The lunatics on the left who've created the lunatics on the right are going to have to tack back towards sanity.
Yeah.
And once they get back towards sanity, then we'll be normal. But as long as you guys want sanctuary cities and drag queen story hour, then there'll be no sanity anymore. You got to get a little normal. You got to be a Democrat that I come from, like kind of those mid-90s Democrats, you know? You have to be a kind of Bill Clinton Democrat where you go, look, abortion should be safe and it should be legal, but it should be rare. We go, we don't like abortion, but it should be legal, but we're not going to celebrate it. You know what I mean? They just got to tack back. And then once they tack back, then the lunatic right will they'll turn their weapons into plowshares or whatever the fuck it is. They'll bury the tomahawk or the hatchet, and they'll just put all that stuff
Yeah, I just
down as well.
I just want everyone to settle down.
It won't settle down. Look, I'll give you an example. If you guys wanted to be halfway normal during COVID, then this would have been fine. If your policy is take an experimental vaccination, otherwise we're going to fire you from your job, then no. And if your thing is going to be shut schools down for 2 weeks and see what happens, the answer is yes. If you say shut schools down for 2 years, then the answer is no. And if you say we're not going to allow rave parties to go on in underground clubs, I'll go yes. But then when you say I want to shut down the beaches, I'll go no. So if you want to be normal, we can go along with this. If you want to be insane, then fuck you. We're going to the octagon.
Yeah.
That's how this ends. I know it's a weird thing. Like you're basically like going, when does the fighting with your wife end? And you go, when that bitch stops being crazy. Which sounds like it's on
Sounds a
you.
bit abusive, yeah.
But if she really is crazy,
I know.
then it would end when she stopped.
Yeah, it just seems like both sides are so far extreme and they're listening to their own Facebook bubbles that I don't know. And I'm like out of it. I feel like a nihilist these days. Like I don't even, what does it matter to me? I'm just some guy, just some punchy prize fighter that's just doing his thing, just floating through the world.
Well, you don't have kids, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, then you can really just check
I'm
out.
good. Yeah, I'm checked out. Yeah, I'm fine. You guys fight amongst yourselves. I'm cracking up. Call me a communist. I'm just living, spread it around a little bit.
Are you done with the news stories? Is
Nah,
there
we
anything
have
left?
the last one. You might like this too.
All right.
Is a top Oregon official put on leave for allegedly prioritizing qualified job candidates over gender identity.
Oh.
So, yeah, exactly.
Somebody's taking qualified people over race and
It's
gender.
being sane, yeah. A DEI expert and her former boss is placed on administrative leave for reportedly prioritizing merit over personal identity when hiring new employees.
So someone's merit-based.
Yes.
Oh, that's a big issue.
Megan Donaker, who formerly served as Oregon Department of Forestry's DEI strategy officer, complained about the agency's management, criticizing her boss, Mike Shaw, for looking beyond gender and identity in hiring, seeking only candidates the most qualified for the job.
How
bizarre
would it be possible for every big organization, every governmental organization, every Fortune 500 company to hire a DEI officer without them finding cases all over the warehouse and all over the military and all over the Department of Federal Lands? Like your job, you just hired a truffle sniffing pig to work at your fucking organizations, and truffles they shall find. Because if the truffle sniffing pig is just sitting in their fucking office and you're paying them $375,000 a year, at some point I go, has Arnold found any truffles? Arnold is the only famous pig. Does anyone know? You know that.
Yeah, of course.
Dawson? No?
I'm aware of Babe.
Oh, Babe. Babe's a more
recent,
Yeah, Arnold is the only famous sitcom pig.
Green Acres.
Green Acres.
Shout out.
Green Acres. Arnold was the name of the pig. But if I'm paying Arnold $375,000 a year and I check into his office and I go, Arnold, find any truffles? They're like, nope. It's been a while, but nope. Eventually, I'll go, well, why do I have to pay this guy $376 a year and he never finds any truffles? So Arnold will find truffles, and whoever you hire will find racism. No matter, they'll find it somewhere.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a problem with racism.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah, the residents are pushing back here in Clackamas County, Oregon, and announced January will dismantle their nearly $830,000 a year diversity, equity, and inclusion office, calling it an
fucking money do we
unnecessary
spend on
expense.
this?
Yeah.
Well, the good news is the people like in Oregon and the people in Washington who are like way out ahead of us. It's even happening in Canada in the fucking nutty cuckoo land, left progressive thing.
Yeah.
They're starting to rethink their sanctuary cities and their defund the cops and their DEI stuff. They're now seeing the results of all that, and they're going, whoa, we got to go back toward the middle where I said we could meet, but we can't as long as there's a bunch of people who are trying to do this shit.
It seems like their heart's in the right place. Like they want everybody to have a nice experience, but the reality of the situation is it doesn't really work out that way.
Their heart, I'm not so sure their heart is in the right place anymore. I used to say that, but if their heart being in the right place means you getting stabbed in the heart by a homeless guy when you're walking through downtown Portland, then who gives a fuck where their heart is?
You're right.
You still got a fucking machete in yours.
I kind of get it. If you listen to enough black ladies tell you that you're a bad person, that you feel bad, and then you push back and try to, or if you watch a translator do the symbols that makes you feel bad about being white, you might go, oh, I need to overcorrect. But then you're overcorrecting right into the ditch. And then you're paying $830,000 to make sure that there are not just white people working here when most of the population in Oregon is white.
Do you remember Arnold's last name from Green Acres?
No, damn.
I'm going to give you a hint. You remember Mr. Ziffel?
No.
You know Arnold, but you don't know Mr. Ziffel?
Listen, just so you know, I was like 4 when I watched that show.
But you knew Arnold.
I know, of course, because Arnold was a pig and I was a little kid, so it's like really spoke to me. I also knew Mr. Ed on a first name basis.
Find me, Dawson, you got to find me 25 seconds of Mr. Haney talking. And when I find you 25 seconds of Mr. Haney talking, and I brought this up before, but it bears repeating. When I find you 25 seconds of Mr. Haney from Green Acres talking.
I remember this, yeah.
I need you to close your eyes, even if you're driving, and I need you to picture Ted Cruz in your head when you hear. Just close your eyes, Mayhem. Let's see.
Here
Let's
I go.
try it. But you need to.
If you need anything for
picture
the house,
Ted Cruz.
I won't. You might. All it said was I sold you a house, and that's what you got, a house. It's just what you need.
Well, it so happens that I'm planting tomatoes.
Mr. Douglas, you just had another lucky day.
Picture Ted Cruz, and he's like, he's questioning someone in Congress. That
was it.
He's got the voice of Mr. Haney.
Very good Ted Cruz vibes there.
Thank you. All right, Mayhem. Elizabeth Pipko is coming in. She's a model. She's an author. She's way more than we deserve, and we'll bring her in right after this. O'Reilly Auto Parts. They're in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly offers friendly, helpful service and the parts and knowledge you'll need for all your maintenance and repairs. I've always gone to O'Reilly. I used to live up in the hills in La Crescenta. I'd go to the one up on Foothill. Still there. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in-store or online, so you'll never have to worry if you're in a jam. The team at O'Reilly Auto Parts can test your battery for free in or out of your car, which is nice. You don't have to pull it. If it needs to be replaced, they'll help you find the right battery for your vehicle. Need your windshield wipers replaced, brake light fixed, quick service, they'll help you find the right part or point you to the nearest local repair shop for help as well. Whether you're a car aficionado or an auto novice, you'll find the team at O'Reilly knowledgeable, helpful, and best of all, friendly. So, the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are your one-stop shop for all things auto, do-it-yourself, and you can find what you need in the store or online. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Stopping Mayhem Miller on your fucking podcast. He is trash. You know it. Everybody knows it. He sucks. He's terrible. Knock it off.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Well, people have spoken. Elizabeth Pipko is here. She's an author. She's a model. Finding My Place, Making My Parents' American Dream Come True is the name of the book. It is available at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and wherever you find finer books. She's an author, model, media personality, political operative. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for looking like a model.
Anytime.
People say this person's a model, and then I see them and I go, what are they modeling?
So you're saying you believe me?
You look like a model.
This is good.
Which isn't always about being the best looking, although it's helpful. It's a big part of it. You have to be tall. You have to have a certain symmetry. You have to certain shape and whatever. So good.
I'll take it.
Oh, you should take it. Looking like a model.
This is a good start.
What can be better? And this book, you're from Russia, right? Family's from Russia.
I was born here.
Right.
Yes.
Family from Russia, Jews from Russia.
Yes.
And did they flee Russia?
Very much fled Russia. They were refugees, came with no money, I think $90 each. My dad was basically homeless, always tells me how he had to kind of decide between taking the subway home one day or getting, dinner that night, which was McDonald's, really. And yeah, lived the American dream.
And by the way, we hear you have a magazine cover out
today. Yes, we timed this really nicely.
Yes. Yeah. And oh, nice. What magazine is that? I don't know any model magazines, but you look good.
We could probably remove the confidential.
Is that a French magazine?
It's a famous fashion magazine, yes, but I'm on the cover of the Argentinian edition.
Ah, okay. Yeah. And why Argentinian?
They're the only ones who wanted me, I guess. I don't know.
Really?
I really don't know. It just kind of happens.
So your father came here penniless and worked hard, and what happened?
And I ended up here with you 1 generation later. Yeah, I mean, both my parents came here penniless, but my mom was like 10 years old, so a little different. But yeah, came here penniless. My dad got full scholarship to Columbia University, full scholarship to Yale Law School. Lived a very successful life, I think, and raised me to kind of follow in his footsteps.
What is the issue with today's American dream as you see it?
The issue is that people think it will be handed to them, or some idiots think it doesn't exist anymore, which I strongly disagree with.
I don't know anybody. I've said this a million times. I've had a lot of different jobs in my life. I don't know anyone who's good at their job who's ever out of work. And I kind of learned this as a carpenter back in the day. Right. Every guy who was just good and like consistent was never out of work, always in demand. And I was like, who do you know who works really hard who's a loser? Like who doesn't achieve some modicum of success. There's no guaranteed riches, but I mean, who in America do you know, any sex, any color, any heritage, you go, that guy's good at what he does, or that woman is good at what she does, and they both work hard, and neither one of them's successful at all. Does that person exist in this country? If the answer is no, then get the fuck to work.
Right, but you don't even have to be good. I think there are a lot of people. What's the saying? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. You don't even have to be good. You just have to want to work.
Yeah, you have to be consistent.
Right.
And you have to show up. And why? And the more, it's so ass backwards, because I was just listening to the news today, and they're like, well, Kamala Harris is not doing well with black men, And then they're like, all right, they got to fix this, so she's got to get black men to vote. And then these pundits are up there going, she needs to talk more about what she's going to do for black men. She's not doing anything for black men. Right. And by the way, it's not their job to do shit for you. I don't know when this governmental switch happened where everyone sits around and goes, well, that person is hears me and knows who I am. And it's like, well, she has to convince the black men that she grew up... She grew up in Montreal with an Indian mom. She's not doing anything for you black dudes. Sorry, but here's the good news. You can do whatever you want.
Right. Well, the problem is she's also like, let me tell you what I could do for you. She's in there right now. So it's clearly whatever she could do, she's not doing right now, so she can't do anything.
I don't even honestly know that it's doable. Like, the only thing that's doable is lower the regulation, make it a little easier for folks to start their own business. You know, if they said, look, black folk, let's say a lot of them are in the salon business or hair or whatever, barbershop, that kind of stuff. All right, California, you have to have 2,000 hours of training and be certified. By the way, you cut hair in the military for 7 years. You know what I mean? You can cut hair. And guess what? If you can't cut hair, then the guy who came to your barbershop whose hair you fucked up last time's not coming back. And you don't have a job. But we don't need a certificate and a board and a licensing and a test and all that. All you can do is bring down the regulation a little and let people try.
Right.
That's all.
There's also the immigration issue.
Yes.
Which, not to get too political, but you can close the border and try to use American resources on American citizens. That's a start, too.
Yeah, Julio Cesar. No, wait a minute. Cesar Chavez. Julio's a boxer. There's a lot of famous Chavezes. The guy who organized the Great Boycott, he coined the phrase wetback, by the way. Yeah. Well, probably didn't mean what he thought back then, but all the guy did was run the union for the veggie pickers of California, all Mexican. He's Mexican. He didn't want any Mexicans coming across that border. Because there are things like, why? He loves Mexicans. No, he doesn't. He wants everyone to have jobs and good wages, not be diluted by cheap labor.
Right. I mean, the problem is, like you said, it's not about black men or white women or whoever is voting which way. It's just about, as Donald Trump says, just putting American citizens first. And it sounds like a great tagline for, an ad for a political campaign until it becomes our reality that our current administration doesn't just put American citizens first. And I think it's probably the simplest way to compare Kamala Harris to Donald Trump, the choices that we have on the ballot in, I think, 21 days. One wants Americans to do well and one wants others to do well. And I think it's really that simple.
I mean, I guess I would say if I were trying to make a case for Kamala Harris or Biden or Gavin Newsom or whatever, I think it comes down to anybody. I'll say it like this. It's like, look, you go, Gavin Newsom, don't you think schools should be open in California? And don't you think black and brown kids are going to fall behind? And he'd go, yeah. And then you'd go, and you do, like, you're legitimately interested in the plight of young black and brown kids, right? They'd go, yeah, I would. Okay, so open the schools. And you'd go, yeah, well, the teachers union's the biggest contributor to my campaign, and they vote, and they give me a lot of money, so I wish I could. Now, do I wish I had a magic wand where I could help the plight of the black kid and the brown kid and get the teachers union's endorsement as well? Yes, I do. If that were the case, then I would do it. But right now, I'm going the side of the teachers unions. Yeah. But I do like black and brown kids. I just do shit that hurts them because I need the union votes.
Right.
And anyone has ever, I'll tell you where it comes down to. It's like if you ever try to start a business and you're out here and you want to manufacture coasters and sell them. I'm just saying that because I'm holding one in my hand. Well, what happens is they go, all right, I want to sell them for $3 a unit, and they go, okay. There's a place in Indiana that can make them, but it's $1.50 a unit. But there's a place in China, and they'll do it for 31 cents a unit. And then all of a sudden you go, well, fuck it, let's go to China. And that's what you do. You're weak, and you take an angle. So I don't know what Biden wants. I don't know what Kamala Harris wants. They just want votes.
Yeah.
And they don't care.
Which is why term limits are the only answer.
It'd be nice.
Any of these problems.
Yeah. So I'm starting to wonder if they're nefarious or they just don't care. They'll just say anything to any group at any time to get votes. I think most
politicians will say anything to any group at any time to get votes.
Right. So it'd be nice if we just had people that were sort of out of the system. You know what I mean? And
we had a limit to how long they could stay in the system.
Mm-hmm. So you grow up in New York?
New York, yeah.
Your dad became successful, super focused and hardworking and everything.
Yes.
Did he have the Russian accent his whole life?
People tell me they hear it. I don't hear it. My mom definitely doesn't have it. I think my dad has like a teeny tiny accent left, but not really. No, he had the Russian personality.
What is the Russian personality?
I mean, my parents were very hardcore. Growing up, they had no rules at all except don't disappoint us. So I had no curfew, and I could date who I wanted and do what I wanted, but I got 1 B in my life, and they made me retake the entire class.
Oh, my
and
God.
go back a year. They were...
1 B. My dad would have chilled the champagne if I showed up with a B. It was all D's and F's.
So that was not an option. My mom...
1 B.
Yeah, my mom is a very famous, successful concert pianist. So.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was handed a violin on my 3rd birthday, and like I didn't get dinner unless they heard me practicing for 3 hours a night in my room as a 3-year-old.
So,
yeah.
I like all this stuff, but I'm a dude, and women can manifest this stuff in different ways. It's not all good. Like, I'm a real kind of tough love. I mean, I wasn't that way with my kids, but I mean, I grew up kind of getting my ass kicked on a football field and getting yelled at by old dudes and threatened and stuff like that, and then getting yelled at by construction foremen and stuff like that. And I go, it was good. I got a work ethic. I'm fine. It worked. But if I was a woman, I could get an eating disorder out of it because the pressure gets manifested in different ways. You know what I mean?
Right.
So how did you deal with the pressure?
I never went to like the eating disorder just because that, like my parents would be like, you're dumb. What are you talking? Like that would not be an option either because they'd be like, what's wrong with you? That's not how we fight back.
And your mom was as hardcore as your dad?
Probably more hardcore.
Well, she didn't coddle at all.
There was no coddling, no.
Wow.
No, but they were the nicest people in the world. You just didn't want to disappoint them growing up. So I was allowed anything I wanted. Like if I wanted to try drugs, they would say, I'll buy them for you. Let's have a good time. Like and I never did it because I was really boring, but they trusted me to do whatever I wanted as long as I didn't disappoint them because that would have been very, very bad.
But slamming heroin would have disappointed them eventually.
I don't think heroin was what they were thinking, but if I wanted, I've never smoked weed or done anything cool in my life. Like I'm very boring, but my mom would have highly encouraged if I wanted to have a little fun.
Where did your, brag a little about your mom?
She came to this country at 10 years old. She got into, do you know Juilliard? Sure. I assume she got into Juilliard pre-college at 10.
Yeah, Mayhem went there.
Yeah, I went there for the weekend.
Dance scholarship.
Yeah, she was selling out Carnegie Hall at like 15 years old.
Selling out Carnegie Hall at 15.
Incredible, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Literally at 15 selling out Carnegie Hall.
Pretty sure, yeah. She's very cool. So my music skills definitely actually disappointed. It was bad.
The violin didn't work out for you.
Unless I was using it to beat the crap out of my brother, no, it did not work out for me.
That is I do sometimes think about, like, when you have the parent who's a true connoisseur of something. Yeah. Sometimes I think about Pauly Shore doing stand-up in front of his mom and her going, I used to Richard Pryor. But okay. But your mom knew her way around a Philharmonic, right?
Yeah.
So you coming in and doing a half-ass fiddle for her did not impress, right?
No, it was bad. She tried. Like, she really tried to encourage. She begged me to keep playing the violin. I think it ended up with me throwing the bow out the window and telling her I was never doing this again. But then I discovered, I don't know if people know this, I discovered figure skating and I was training for the Olympics.
Really?
Which is a whole other conversation.
At what age?
I was 10, so it was just pretty late to start skating, and I was supposed to go to the 2014 Olympics, and I destroyed my ankle and was told I would never walk again and kind of fucked up my life. But
all right, first off,
we can I
got a lot. I got a lot to say.
Yeah.
Do doctors ever really say you'll never blank again? Because if people do that, like, oh, Rocky Bleier stepped on a landmine in Vietnam. They said he wouldn't walk again. Now he's the starting fullback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, are they that far off in their diagnosis? And isn't it horrible bedside manner to tell a 10-year-old or Rocky Bleier, you're never going to walk again? And do they even say that, or is that just what you hear when the guy says this is very severe?
I was going to walk, but they were like, you're not going to wear heels. You're never going to, I still can't really run, but you're never going to skate again. That's for sure. Like, I was told my dream was over, and I'm thinking
about asking about how you destroyed your ankle, but it might hurt my teeth. Because when I hear real horrible stories
Same.
about why people destroyed
Actually,
their ankle.
I could tell you other horrible stories, like skate to the head injuries that I had.
No, see, that hurts my teeth.
Yeah, the ankle wasn't that. We would do jumps on the floor, and I landed on the side of my foot because it was wet, I think, when I jumped, and I tore 2 ligaments, 3 tendons, snapped my Achilles, and busted every bone.
See,
that
that
was in
hurts
me.
my teeth. So,
Yeah.
you would have been Olympic bound. Do you feel like?
No, I was.
You
asked
was
to
Olympic.
go
You
to
were
the 2014
Olympic bound.
Olympics. Yeah.
So how does that work? They see you in juniors or whatever they see you in. Like, how do you get the invitation? And then what's the invitation? Is the invitation to try out for the team, or is the invitation to join the team?
It's actually very complicated. My story was a little more simple. I was speaking with the Israeli Olympic team.
Oh, okay.
And there was a
All right,
girl
that
who got
adds a
there was
more
a girl who
context.
got injured actually, and I was supposed to take her spot.
Aha. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sorry. It does sometimes. The United States is so big and so
Mm-hmm.
full of whatever, and has so many junior whatevers that I figured it was more complicated. But the Israeli a little smaller.
Yeah. Now
little
they're
cleaner.
really good because all the Russian girls went over there.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
See,
a whole
listen,
other
be careful
conversation.
what
Yeah.
you do. Like, Germany drew out all their Jews, and now we got an atom bomb. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
In show business. So
Mm-hmm.
we got a lot. So now are you married?
I am married. Yes.
Is the bar a little high over at the house? Because, a lot of fellas like to play video games.
My
hang out.
husband loves to play video games.
Nice.
Does a little Russian mom and you come out when you come home and he's sitting there in his bathrobe playing video games? And you're like,
I mean, he works his butt off right
All
now,
right.
but his dream is to be a one-day video game playing stay-at-home dad. So.
Hell yeah.
and you're okay with that?
He's surprisingly wonderful. So yeah, he can do whatever he wants.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Good. Because, when you're a super high achiever, sometimes it's good, except for if you're with a person, male or female, it's a little bit casual.
Yeah.
He's very casual.
Like they're on island time,
Yeah,
you know?
you're out
got
here
a little.
beating the streets, promoting
Right.
stuff, and he's out there on Call of Duty.
That's right.
It's like a nice balance, though. Like he's
okay.
very normal,
All
very
right.
calm. He's from Buffalo, New York. Just like a normal dude who wants to play video games and be happy. I need some of that.
That's
in my
how you
life.
get a
But
bottle right there.
Don't you think, see, that's what I think happened with Ben Affleck and J-Lo.
Yeah.
I think she was getting up to do her 6 a.m. Pilates with her personal, Pilates instructor, and then her choreographer was coming over there. And she'd been going at it since 6 a.m. till 10 a.m. And she's taking a break, and she sees Ben walking out in a towel,
Flicking a butt.
lighting a cigarette. Eating a Dunkin' Donut and smoking out on the porch, and she's like, "God damn it!"
The funny thing is, people call my husband Ben Affleck.
I knew it.
Do you know the meme where he's with the
Yep.
cigarette in his hand? That's the picture that is the screens. People save my husband as that photo in
my
their phone
goodness.
because he always looks miserable and very
Oh,
much like
my
Ben
goodness.
Affleck.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I may be stumbling on to
I
some
know.
very uncomfortable
Right.
truths
Some
here.
Rocky shoulders.
I think we've already been together 8 times longer than these two were just now, so I'm not that worried.
You feel good about it?
I met him at 21.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was very confident.
All right.
Yeah.
He was just a young video player back then.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
And now, what about your mom? Is your mom okay with the guy who plays video games?
She thinks he's God's gift to society.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
What the hell?
Yeah,
That's
she thinks
awesome.
I'm the problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Guy a trust fund baby by any chance?
Nothing, not even close,
Oh.
actually. Yeah.
Hey, you're giving hope to the men out there.
Yeah.
They too can
He's-
score the,
I don't know. I met a lot of men before him. He's the nicest, funniest, most decent human I've ever met.
Well, bless his heart.
Yeah, people don't
Oh,
compete with
Mayhem could fake that.
Yeah.
Except for the
For at
funny
least
part.
6 weeks.
that. Yeah, I catch on pretty quick.
So you then did not go to the Israeli Olympic team.
Mm-hmm.
Then when did modeling start to drift in?
So I was a very, very depressed, broken teenage girl because of the whole dreams getting ruined situation. I was virtual schooled, basically homeschooled. I had no friends. I had a cast on my leg for like a year. I was in physical therapy with senior citizens every single day, trying to learn how to walk up and down stairs. I'd never gone on a date, never had a friend, never done like the high school thing. Just a very depressed teenage girl. And I was discovered by a photographer in Central Park. And she took a few pictures of me and sent them to one of the biggest modeling agencies in the world. And just kind of worked out.
I've been walking around trying to get discovered everywhere.
I was at North Hollywood Park for a long time and no one ever stopped and took a picture. So that gets sent off, and do you immediately get work?
Yeah, they signed me right away. Pretty immediately got work. It wasn't all it's hyped up to be. It was pretty brutal.
What was brutal about it?
I mean, I was 17, 18, I think, when I got signed. Imagine you've never been to a party, you've never been on a date. Like, you are the most sheltered teenage, former, like, professional athlete. I'm teeny tiny and scared of everything. And I end up at the Christmas party for our agency. It was like 2 months after I got signed. And it ended up being the R. Kelly album release party.
Wow.
So, like, that was, like, my first intro to the modeling world.
Wow.
Right. So it was rough. Like, thank God I lived with my parents and had like a normal life. But the girls that get plucked out of little villages in Russia and sent to New York to model, they get into really crappy situations.
And then there are ones that get plucked out here and sent to Europe.
Right. I don't think that works out well either.
It's never good to pluck.
It's never good. No, don't pluck.
Send them somewhere. But you never got sent somewhere.
I really don't like leaving America, so I wouldn't have gone anywhere.
Oh, because of your family's. Like,
I'm just weird. I don't like anything in Europe or outside of the country.
But you stayed here and modeled.
Yes, stayed here and modeled.
And that helped your depression because
I was a girl.
You're a girl.
A girl wants to model.
Good.
Yeah.
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 So
it's very normal.
Then where does college come in?
I was taking. So I applied to go only to Harvard. My parents were like, it's Ivy League or nothing, because crazy. At the same time, I was attempting to skate without telling my parents because I wanted to make a comeback to the sport. So I'd like wake up at 4 a.m. and sneak out to Central Park and work out or go to the skating rink or do whatever, and they wouldn't notice because I was scared they'd kill me. So I applied to go to Harvard's online program because I was convinced I was going to go back to the sport. Obviously didn't work out for me. I do skate now almost every day, but not like I used to.
Almost every day?
Yeah. Before I took this job as RNC spokeswoman, I skated like 4 hours a day every day. Now I'm a little busy, but yes. But at the same time as doing a few online classes, Donald Trump announced that he was running for president, and I ended up with a job on his presidential campaign and barely had 6 months of college on my resume. Did that, and then after I left politics and went back to the mainstream world, I went back, I finished my degree, I went to UPenn and got my master's and just became a well-rounded human, I think.
What is involved with being the RNC spokesperson?
A lot of rough days defending the campaign, defending the Republican Party, just a lot of political craziness, but I'm still the spokeswoman for one of 2 major political parties in this country. Like, it's a huge deal, especially first-generation American, but it's a lot, especially at one of the craziest elections that I think we've ever seen.
Is it always, not always, but is it oftentimes combative? Because I find that there's a big difference between, the way they treat J.D. Vance when he goes on the Sunday shows. It's interesting, but it's also super telling. So the super telling part of it is, which I don't know if people are waking up to this, but they should. So I had this argument for a million years with everyone. They go, well, there's CNN and then there's Fox. So there's CNN and then there's Fox. And I'm like, yeah, but there's CBS and there's the LA Times, the New York Times, there's NBC. There's all of them. All of them are to the left. And people go, no. Come on. There's 60 Minutes is 60 Minutes. They're just trying to do journalism over there. And it's like, have you noticed the difference between sitting down with Tim Walz and Kamala Harris and or sitting down with J.D. Vance? Like it'd be like, if I have boy-girl twins, and it'd be like if somebody said, well, come on, you're so much prefer the boy and you're really not fond of the girl. And I was like, what are you talking about? You don't know what I think. I just run it right down the middle, man. Well, you're kind of raising your voice to the girl. Well, she missed curfew and she wasn't that good on the fiddle. So, but no, I'm equal. I'm equal-handed. And then they went, all right. And then they would show a video of me doing an interview. And the interview of me interviewing my son would be, hey, somebody's lost weight. You working out, boy? Looking good. Hey, you want another Diet Dr. Pepper? Anyway, Rams, they got to get it together, right? What'd you say? Yeah, okay. And then my daughter sat down and I went, why are you such a bitch? And they went, huh? And then I went, what's going on with your room? There's dirty socks everywhere. And then then I come back and I go, no, just pitching it down, just following the facts. It's so insanely, blatantly whatever. Ooh, I just had a sexist thought.
Uh-oh.
I think the men in the media can disguise it a little better. The women wear it on their sleeve. Like Trump's going, what are you talking about? Russian collusion and the laptop? Sir. Like all of a sudden they just start yelling. Yeah. And it's like they're emotional and they hate Trump. But there's a part of their brain going, you're a journalist, tamp it down, don't let them. But they're women, and they get emotional about it, and they start raising their voice. The guys, Jake Tapper tries to pretend, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or whomever, Anderson Cooper, kind of pretend a little better. The ladies, they just go right at it.
Yeah, they don't like us, the ladies.
No.
They really don't like us.
A shrieking lady is bad optics.
But they need to pretend, or the ladies need to do a better job of feigning some neutrality.
Right. It's because they've convinced themselves that this is not Republican versus Democrat. It's good versus evil. And this is some kind of crazy, outlandish election, and Donald Trump actually is Hitler.
Right.
And none of this is true.
Right. But they're still coming in under the guise of journalists. And it's always funny when sometimes the person calls them out and they go, look, I get your politics. You don't like me. And they go, right. Sir, you don't know my politics. We don't know your politics. I've been listening to your ass for 15 years, sharing your politics with everybody.
They do that a lot, right? It's like, you don't know my politics. I'm just a journalist. But
I just work at MSNBC, and I'm a shaved head black woman who's super angry at Trump. But I don't know. Yeah, you're right. That was very presumptuous of me. You may be voting for Trump. You may be voting for Kamala Harris. We don't know. Nobody knows.
Yeah, they're not very nice to me. So
they hate
agree.
you.
They say crazy things about me. And
well, give me some. They hate. First off, they hate any black people that are conservative. They really hate black people that are conservative.
People that are conservative is rough.
They don't like Jews either.
In general.
In general. They will not say they don't like Jews. They just don't like Jews. Everything is the squad and AOC and all that shit. They clearly don't like Jews.
Yeah.
But they never say that. They just act like they don't like Jews.
They say they
all
don't
the time.
like Israel. Not Jews, but like 95% of Jews support Israel.
I love Italians. I just hate Italy.
Right,
so
it makes sense.
There you go.
That's fine.
Yeah, well, but the people are great. I love
I don't
Italian
get it.
people.
Like, so when you have to be the spokeswoman, do they slip you a script and say, here's the bullet points? And I don't understand.
No, I mean, we have talking points on issues, obviously, because I just can't memorize every single policy we've ever supported. But no, it's mostly me getting to kind of tell people my viewpoint. I always say I would not have taken this job if Donald Trump wasn't the candidate, and I wouldn't have been picked for the job if Donald Trump wasn't the candidate. Like, I don't think the Republican Party pre-Donald Trump would want me representing them. So.
Who's tough on you, or who have you had dust-ups with?
I mean, BBC is really not nice.
Really?
Oh, BBC, yeah, it's weird. They're weirdly left.
Very left.
That's a weird, forget about that.
But they're not American. Like, it's like British people yelling at me. It's like, you don't even get a vote. Why do you care?
Right.
Like, why?
What did they say to you in particular? Like, what did you bump up against BBC with?
I remember at the convention, the Republican convention this summer, it was right after Donald Trump announced that J.D. Vance was the pick. And I have maybe 30 minutes to get in the booth with BBC. And I mean, I have my talking points. I know J.D. Vance's history. We knew he was probably one of the top 3 choices anyway, so I'd brushed up. But I mean, the interview starts and they're like, why would you support J.D. Vance when he believes that women should stay married even if they get beaten up? And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. And they're like, well, he hates women, so why are you doing this? And it's like, that's not a normal way to have a conversation. But yeah, I mean, it's like things like that, just like outlandish crazy things.
Oh.
Yeah, Donald Trump hates Jews. J.D. Vance hates women. This one hates black people. It's just normal.
That's how they posit it? That they say exactly like this?
They say it exactly like that. You're a Jew and you're supporting a man who hates Jews. And I have to be like, I just stood with him while he wore a yarmulke on October 7th and prayed with a hostage family for their kid to come home. So I don't really think he hates Jews, but yeah, that's my life.
What's he, my feeling is always, I don't really care if he hates Jews as long as he has no policies that are anti-Jew. So if he's going to support the hell out of Israel, then who cares if he hates Jews? And I'll tell you who hated Jews. Henry Ford hated Jews. And Henry Ford published a newspaper, an anti-Semitic newspaper they would insist be at all as dealers. That's how much he hated Jews. But also, he's the guy who manufactured B-17s to bomb Nazis. Yeah. So I would rather have... See, this is something the liberals don't really understand. My mom loved Jews and would never do a thing for a Jew ever, and never contributed to a Jew's life, and never gave a penny to a Jew, and never helped anyone who was of Jewish faith. But she loved Jews.
Yeah.
Henry Ford hated Jews, but made bombers that killed Germans and liberated Jews.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you rather have that than my mom who loved Jews and did nothing?
Yeah. I mean, the fact is we don't actually know how any of these politicians feel personally.
We really don't know.
Anyway, but we know that 1,200 Jews were slaughtered on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's watch, and they weren't slaughtered on Donald Trump's watch.
Wait, so what's the Republican stance on...
Jews?
Jews too.
We're good with the Jews.
Israel. Like, what's their plan?
I mean, we're very supportive of Israel. I don't...
So, like, more bombs and guns and... weapons.
Well, I think it's more like when Americans are slaughtered by a terrorist.
Oh, yeah.
Not just Americans, but our ally, Israeli as well. But Americans were slaughtered October 7th. Americans are still being held now. It's been over a year. 4 Americans are hopefully still alive and still held in a tunnel. I don't think you should be planting a tree on October 7th, which is what Kamala Harris did. I think you should be threatening the terrorist group that's holding your Americans and helping your ally, Israel, to defeat them.
Imagine, like, being held hostage. If you are a 7-foot lesbian black NBAer, and you're in Russia, you're in good shape because they love those optics and they'll trade whomever to get you out of there. If you're a Jew or an American Jew and Hamas has you in a tunnel and you got Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in charge of that, you are shit out of luck. And it's so fucking sad. And I mean, imagine they go, we're never going to sleep until we free those hostages. Well, last I checked, it's been over a year. And by the way, I saw Joe sleeping on the beach 2 days later, and Kamala Harris is out kissing babies. So I do not think whatever it is they're doing, they ain't doing anything. Or if they did, something would happen. I mean, what I'm saying is when do we get to call you feckless? Like, when do we get to call you just completely inert or ineffective? You've been working on the border, working on grocery prices, working on fuel prices, working on freeing hostages, and you've done nothing. None of it has happened. So either you're not trying or you are trying and you're super ineffective.
So if it was Brittany Griner, it would be SEAL Team 6 in the tunnels doing,
they trade the merchant of death arms dealer to get out one WNBAer because we hate the optics of
Which
it.
Is great. I think all Americans should come home. But, I mean, the fact is we have 4 Americans hopefully still alive for nearly a year. And on the 1-year anniversary of those attacks where dozens of Americans were killed, 1,200 people total, Kamala Harris planted a tree.
Right.
That was it.
Wait, so if Trump gets in there, it's going to be, SEAL Team 6? Because, I'm all about some excitement.
Well, I think when terrorists, forget Israel. Like, imagine Israel, nothing to do with it. I think when terrorists hold Americans hostage, like, Donald Trump doesn't fuck around with that. I think it's that simple. Whereas this administration seems to want to give Iran money, even though they pay their proxies to literally hold Americans hostage, Donald Trump kind of does the opposite, which is why this didn't happen under Donald Trump.
The Dearborn Independent is the name of the paper. The Ford International Weekly is also what it's called. From 1919 through 1927. And it was all anti-Semitic material. And probably deals on cars, you know, sprinkled in the between the anti-Semitic stuff. Yeah, his dealers used to tell him, like, we don't want to put that stuff in our showroom because some Jews buy cars and we don't need this. And he'd go, like, put it in there. So that's who he was.
Horrible.
But he helped liberate Europe through building his bombers. So, like
I'm just trying to think, did he do it begrudgingly, painstakingly? Like, was he like, oh, God, all right, fine, I'll bomb the Nazis?
He built Willow Run, which is a huge factory in Dearborn or whatever, and then started building, is it B-17s or B-27s? Or there's a few Bs. But anyway, we got to figure out which one he built. But the other thing that was crazy is Lindbergh, Charles Lindbergh, who was another anti-Semite, was his test pilot.
Yeah.
So he had one anti-Semite building the planes, and then you had another anti-Semite putting them into, B-24 Liberator, putting them into nosedives at 40,000 feet to see how it would react. And so you had two of these guys who were both anti-Semitic and both did, in big part, help win World War II and defeat Hitler and the Nazis.
So why do you think people hate the Jews?
How long do we have?
I have my theories.
I mean, there's a lot, and there's been years of this, and it's not like a new thing for Jews. But I think now it's very basic. It's become Israel is the bad guy, white colonial monsters, colonists, same as, you know, America. We don't like racists. We don't like Americans. Americans are colonizers. Israelis are colonizers. It's like a very basic, liberal, not very thought through idea. Like it's.
See, I thought
so
it was
silly.
like the other way. Like I thought Republicans hated Jews. Now it's like, wait a minute, Democrats hate the Jews? I just don't pay attention close enough, I think. That's what's happening?
They have decided the Jews equal Israel. There's anti-Semitism for years now, obviously, on all sides, and it's horrible. But as a policy, supporting Israel was always the policy of both parties. Now it is very much not the case anymore, and you see young Democrats, young liberals, whatever they want to call themselves, literally marching with the flags of terrorist groups and chanting "Gas the Jews."
Ooh.
I think we have like a small problem.
That's happening?
That is happening.
Man,
all
I got to
over.
watch more than TikTok.
They don't like
You should read my
Jews because
DMs.
Jews are flourishing, and they don't really like anybody. Any culture that flourishes is no longer a minority. They kind of Asians aren't really considered minorities because they out earn us. You know what I mean? Like their whole thing about minority is not how many of you there are, or if you're a minority, but how well you earn money and does your family stay intact and are you successful? And the Jews beat white people in that department, so they look at them as a non-minority. Meanwhile, Palestinians do not flourish, so they take their side. So it's pretty much that. Also, the Jews shame most other cultures by succeeding when they shouldn't succeed through hard work and family, education, and whatever. And that shames people. That's why That's why the black community in general doesn't like the Jews. They get shamed by the Jews' success. I've always known that. Because it's like, why is it? Why do black people hate Jews? Like at a much higher rate. They should
Team up.
Yeah, they should feel a kinship.
And they did. They
them.
worked in the
That's
Civil
right.
Rights era. They worked together. There was a time when they worked together. I mean, Jewish people had to also drink from the fountain that wasn't for white people.
Well,
like Jews were also treated like, you know, non-white people in this. Of course, less than. But we are very successful, and I'm proud to be a part of that.
It shames anyone who's not, and so that's the problem with the black
and
community
same with
and the
Israel.
Jews.
It's a small country, and they have an incredible military, and they don't like that they fight back when there are terrorist attacks on their land.
Yes, they flourish in an ashtray of hatred.
But I also think the other side, too, is that, you know, they're just like indiscriminately bombing, I think is what they're saying.
Well, they don't
people
want.
Are like, oh, it's genocide.
The problem
They're
is
saying that.
they want the Jews dead.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I know.
They never really.
But they have
don't
no-
come out. Well, they do come out and say
Now
it.
they
But
just say it.
right.
wow.
The
Really?
people on.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they want the Jews dead, and that's problematic if you're Israel. So they let the cat out of the bag. They let the cat out of the bag with a lot of stuff lately.
They're saying the quiet part out loud.
There's
I
a
get it.
lot of saying the quiet part out loud, which is interesting and sad.
Ugh.
Rough year for Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been rough.
Yeah. Well, I've always been a fan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
On behalf of all the Jews, thank you.
Always knew it. Saw it early. Let's give the book a plug, by the way.
Thanks.
Finding My Place, Making My Parents' American Dream Come True. It's available wherever you find finer books, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all of that. Should I give your website out?
There's not much on there. There is my cover. That was today. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
That looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of political spokespeople get to do
I
that.
know, yeah.
so.
You're a double
I'm
threat.
trying to change the world here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get on the cover.
Well, Megan Kelly's pretty hot. But all right. That was me just
I think
thinking-
she's hot.
just
I
thinking
actually
out
agree. I
loud.
think she's very hot.
Oh, and the most attractive thing of her, she thinks like a dude.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but there's no more dude thing chick that I've ever met. She thinks like a dude.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's good. Makes her even hotter. But Elizabeth, so where are you going to be next? What's the next assignment?
I will be on Fox News in a couple of hours.
Whose show are you doing?
Trace Gallagher.
Uh-huh. So you're doing that from out here?
Yeah, it's my first time meeting him in person, even though I've been on his show weekly for over a year now.
You've been doing it from the van?
From the van. You know the van life.
I do know the van life.
Yes, a lot of vans. Do you know the van life?
No, not aware of this.
It's, think dress shirt and gym trunks
Oh,
with
I get it.
flip-flops.
Yeah.
And then you sit
Green
there
screen.
and someone goes, what ear do you prefer the speaker in? And you go, I don't know. I'm
a
really
left
thought
ear
about
guy
that.
myself.
You're a left ear guy?
I'm right. Yeah. But yeah, they'll send you a van no matter where you are. I'll like pop out of dinner, sit in the van, do Fox, and run back in.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I am not aware of this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they'll send that. You get a lot of the same people running the van who never think you're funny. That much we know.
Yeah.
All right. The book out as we speak, and wherever you find finer books. Me, Covina, will be at the Laugh Factory doing stand-up October 25th and 26th. We got 4 shows over there, so come on by. Say hi. Heading to Kimmel's Club after that, October 31st. Yeah. And then Bellflower doing stand-up over there, 2 shows. That'll be on November 2nd. Just go to AdamCrow.com for all the live shows. Until next time, it's Adam Crow for Mayhem Miller and Elizabeth Pipko saying mahalo.